Hi Flosstube, my name is Mary and I am a Mary Stitcher here on YouTube and also on Instagram. And this is my channel, which is predominantly about cross stitch, although I may frighten you and throw in a few odd things here and there. But for today, it's all cross stitch all the time. So first, a little business. From our last video, I had a giveaway of the 3-part chart from Lizzie Kate called Things Unseen. That's a pretty good shot of what the final design looks like. And the winner of this was Ann DaCosta, 2864. So Ann, I think that you have won something once before actually, and if you will confirm your address for me, send me a message, or you can message me on Instagram. I will get this chart, all 3 parts, out to you. There's the other 2. They just didn't take them all out of the package. But I'll get these out to you as soon as possible. All right. This is Flosstube number 9. And it is Saturday, the 17th of May. So, there we go. Now, since we last got together, I have had only one start. I'm trying to kind of minimize new starts this year and get some older, larger whips that have been in my whip rotation cleared up. I want to pull some of those older pieces that I started and have gone around and bypassed and finished all kinds of other smaller things. I need to get those done, so I'm trying to start a little bit less this year. But I did have a start at the Spring Mingle, which was an online retreat given by Stephanie of Lindy Stitches and her team. And during that time, I was lucky enough to be able to attend the class put on by Kathy Haberman of Hands-On Design. And the class was for a chart called This Bee's Got Knees. Now, unlike most people, I did not do my pre-stitching, so I started it during the retreat. And I started it on, let's see, this is an R&R Reproductions fabric, and I believe it is somebody's brew. Something's brewing. Hold on a minute. Good grief. There it is, 36 count R&R Reproductions Mayflower Mocha. It wasn't a brew. Okay, there we go. And you can see I just got the smallest of starts, and the reason behind that is, again, I'm backtracking and trying to catch up on some older things. I will, however, rewatch the class before it disappears in a few weeks, and that way I'll be sure and get some pointers from Kathy on how to put things together and finish that project, because it's really a sweet chart and I really like the design. The class was a lot of fun too. Okay, so that's This Bee's Got Knees. Now, with regard to finishes, I didn't have any finishes during this last period. Didn't have any stitch finishes either, actually. So again, trying to work on some bigger, older items. So it is time for whips. Now, again, the old girl. I'll get her done eventually. This is M.H. Smith, 1890. This is a Bristol sampler from Dutch Treat Designs. I have done what I always do, which is gone rogue and changed the design around a little bit. I eliminated some of the alphabets that seemed a little bit redundant, where there was one where almost everything would be identical to another one. So I ended up eliminating about 3 of the alphabets in this row of many. I'm also shuffling it around where I'm moving the flowers over, flowers over here, squirrel over here, and then I'm choosing the best of these bands for the panel in between those 2 items. Just worked better for me, and I think that I'm going to enjoy the stitch a little bit more if I do it this way. So that is the chart, and here's where we are. I've been using this as my 1 red thread or 2 red threads a day, and I am making slow but steady progress. This is on 46 count. Make sure it all shows. There we go. Yay! There it is. Okay, so it's on 46 count, antique white Zweigart, and it's DMC 498, 498, I think it is, 498 for the red that I'm using. And I'm making pretty good progress. I'm excited because, sure, I whipped right through that so fast. Since we last got together, I finished this little bracket in here and finished this bar going across and got a start on the flowers. So I'm real excited about that, because before it was just all alphabets all the time. So there we go. Put this away. So many things. There we go. My next whip, and I try to keep these sort of in chronological age of when I started them, just it keeps me on track, so I know these are the ones I need to focus on because they're the oldest. And that last one was started at the end of 2021, so yes, she's an old one, but she's a big girl. All right, next we have from the Blue Flower, Huckleberry Farm. Just really such a pretty design, but as I do, I messed around with it and changed it around a little bit, so it may not be as recognizable. But here's what I've got for my progress. Whoops, things going everywhere. All right, this is where I stand on Huckleberry Farm. You can see that my verse is going to be a little different. I'm removing the alphabet and the phrase that was in there, which is something about one for me and one for the basket, sort of like divvying up the berries. I've moved the butterfly out of the center and over to one side. And since the last time you saw this stitch, I've finished the little shrubs next to the bear and got the little bee skep in there and started doing the basement of the house just so I could get my place marker, and then came over here to start doing some of the green of the little mountain range that's in there. So this is being stitched mostly in the called for fabric, mostly in the called for threads, and the fabric is 40 count Jamie's Kilt, and this is from Hand Dyed by Stephanie. So this is one of Stephanie's fabrics. I think I might have mentioned this before as being somebody else's fabric, but no, it's hand dyed by Stephanie, and it's a terrific fabric. I love the modeling in it, the little sort of purples and greens, and it's very pretty. So we're moving along on that one. Now, my next whip that I worked on since we've met is Summer Quaker. Now, Summer Quaker is from Leela's Studio, and this is part of a sal being put on by Erica of Fibers and Floss Canada, and, oh, mercy me, Samantha, the Huga Stitcher. And they are, I think it's called the Live in the Sunshine sal. So it's been going on for a while. I love it. And this, I'm using most of the called for threads. Oh goodness, I got magnets jumping on me. Anyway, here we go. So this is 18 count Ada from Picture This Plus, and this is in their colorway Fog. And when we last saw this in my whip update, I had really gotten just the little creatures, whoops, most of the little creatures in here done. But since then, I've done these motifs, I've done the little sand dollar, I've turned the corner, and I've done some of the inner border. So you can see I'm getting my place markers set up, but it looks great. The colors in this one are wonderful. I did change the color of the sand dollar because the color that was called for just ghosted too much on my fabric, so I decided I'd go to the lavender color that actual sand dollars are when they're alive. So that's the way I went for that one. Now, next we have a terrific whip, and I'm having a good time with this one because this is my candidate for Andrew, the Runner Stitcher's Whip It Into Shape sal. And that has to do with Andrew's training to get ready for his upcoming marathon. In fact, I think as part of his training and something that he had done before, he ran a half marathon just this morning. Did I get up and stitch during that time window? No. No, I did not. But that's okay. I was with him all the way, and so my choice to whip into shape is No Time Like the Present from Modern Folk Embroidery. This was their 2024 SAL. I did not finish it in 2024. That's just how it goes. But anyway, this is a terrific chart, and I've chosen this for my whip into shape because I'm hoping to have this one done at the end of the year, this year. So that's what it looks like. And mine is being stitched on, whoa, lordy, things are flying. There we go. This is where I've gotten to on my progress so far, which actually I'm feeling pretty good about, because as of the last time anybody saw this one, I did not have the clock face in place. And so as part of stitching, and I don't count stitches, I tend to just equate the amount of time that I think that is appropriate to cover the amount of stitches. And you can see that I now have the clock face in. And while most of this was shown as a two-color chart, there were 3 or 4 different options that Jacob, the designer, put on his booklet. I decided to go for 3 colors just because I didn't want blue squirrels or a green deer. I don't know, for whatever reason. I thought it needed a 3rd color. So I brought in Hazelnut from Gloriana, and Northern Lights is the blue from Gloriana, and Granny Smith Apple is the green. So those 3 colors of Gloriana are what I'm working with. I just happened to have them, so when I decided to do this chart, I pulled them out. So that's where we stand. I think this design is so pretty. I don't think I'm quite halfway yet, but again, I'm hoping that the Whip It In Shape Sal is going to kick it into gear, and I'll continue to make steady progress on this between now and the time of Andrew's marathon. So that's where we stand on that. Now, speaking of SALs, I have another SAL that I worked on this month, and that is the Put a Bird on It SAL. And this is one that's being done by Shelia and EJ, the Sunshine Stitchers. And this is another Modern Folk Embroidery chart. And this is a rendering showing multiple colors. Lots of people are choosing to do this as a monochromatic, and it really looks pretty any way you see it. This is just a nice, nice chart because it's got a lot of impact with some big motifs, but it's not an enormous chart, really. It isn't. It's quite fun. And I decided to do mine in sort of raucous, loud colors like I do. So this is what it will look like, sort of, when it's done. Now, I tried to stitch on this during the spring mingle. And note to self, don't stitch on Quakers when you're talking to people because you lose count. For instance, this is how far I got. So you can see that, good grief, do I have this right? No, I don't. Here we go. That's better. This is the right way round. Anyway, I was really feeling quite smug because I had come down the bottom, and first of all, I finished this since the last time I showed it. I did this one since the last time I showed it, and then I did this green one down in the center, except for the birds. I'm putting the birds on towards the end because the birds are all going to be in one color. They are not going to be the same color as their motifs. So I just decided to do something a little wild and woolly with that one. I was feeling great because I had gotten partway into what's going to be this motif down here, and I thought that was so wonderful until I realized I had an error and I had to frog out just about everything I had done on that last motif. That was when I reminded myself, stop doing Quakers when you're yammering. So there we go. But it's going to be certainly colorful and fun, which I love, and I'll be interested to see if my plan of doing the birds all the same color ends up being a plus or a minus. You know, it's an adventure. I'm willing to try it. And if I don't like it, heck, I can just frog the first couple out and we'll see how it goes. Oh, this was the lovely color. This indigo from Belsoir was the color that I had to frog so much of. So that's the way the cookie crumbles, as they say. All right, another Sal. I'm a little Sal happy right now. And I'm not sure whether this means that I just love a good Sal. I do. Or whether it means that I'm always dragging up the rear with these Sals, and so I end up with a lot of them in my whip rotation because I didn't get them done in a timely manner. Who can say? Now this is a Sal from this year, so I'm feeling pretty good about how well I'm doing on that one. This is for the Across the Pond Stitch and Chat. Pardon me, I'm trying to blind myself with an eyelash gone crazy. There we go. Sorry. Pardon. Anyway, I'm not going to start all over again just because of that. I hope you'll forgive me. Anyway, this is One Stitch at a Time. It's a chart from La Di Da, and it's been broken down by Sarah of Sew Me Sarah, who is the hostess of this Sal through the Across the Pond Stitch and Chat group. And she broke it down into monthly segments. Actually, I don't know that did she do 12? Yeah, maybe she did 12. Anyway, so we're working in sections. You know, you had the words, and then the tree, and then the bird. So coming along, I'm a little behind. I knew I was going to get behind when it came time to do the house because I am not one of those house stitcher kind of people. I don't know why. I always have a lot of mistakes when I'm stitching houses. So I don't rush to do them. But anyway, I'm chugging along, and that is what it will look like. And here's where you can see that I have started the house, but I don't know that I'm going to have it finished by the end of the month. And theoretically, to be on time with the rest of the Sal, I would need to get the house done by the end of the month. Will that happen? Maybe not, but that's okay. I feel good enough about it that if I just what I've been doing actually the last few days is stitching 1 or 2 threads on the house per day because again, I'm not a big house stitcher. I love samplers that have houses in them. In fact, some of the ones I love have enormous houses in them and I don't know why, but I love them dearly. I'm just not as good at stitching houses as I wish I was. All right, let's see. I think, by gummy, that may be it for the whips. Now, what do I have to do next? Okay, Whipgo Plans. I have not actually really started on my Whipgo pulls for this month, but it's the 17th, and I do a 5-day rotation, so I just kind of pushed them off to the end of the month. So I'll be starting those shortly, give each one 5 days. And so the calls this time were 5 and 19, which for me were another Modern Folk Embroidery Sal that I'm woefully behind on. That's the family patchwork from Jacob DeGraff of Modern Folk. And the other one is Shimmering Mermaid, which is a Mirabilia. And I haven't stitched on my mirrors in a while. I need to get down to business and get going on those. So those I will be working on in the last part of this month. So that'll be great. Now, next thing is new acquisitions that came in the last couple of weeks. So this is Weeks Dye Work Periwinkle, 40 count periwinkle, and I purchased this during the spring mingle from Wendy Stitches. So it's just a really great blue. I like blues for all kind of things. Nighttime stitches, wintry stitches, it's amazing how much a blue background works with a lot of designs. So I'm excited to stitch on that. And I ordered a couple of charts during the spring mingle. This one from Pigeon Coop Designs is just such a sweet, sweet thing. And I ordered the PDF, which is why you see it in this format. But yeah, I just think that design is so pretty. So I got that. Then I also got from Boomerang Stitches This little hummingbird one, I really like it's got kind of a neat shape to it. And I've seen it said that some of these Boomerang Stitches charts have a little bit of a Charlie Harper vibe. It's sort of that mid-century modern thing, and I really like it. I think these are pretty, and I think that this will stitch up really nicely. Then I ordered this kit, and this is not a new kit. It's this kit from Samplers Not Forgotten. They have a number of really pretty heart-shaped designs that they issue in kit form periodically. I ordered this one and another one. The other one has not come in yet. In truth, I am probably not going to use the kit fabric on this one, but I love to garden, and I have a lot of hydrangeas in my garden, and this is sort of a hydrangea-looking plant right here. But what I'm going to do, because this pretty white hydrangea color, is I'm going to stitch this on a purple fabric. And I may or may not use the backing materials, and I may even play around with the floss, but I'll put those pieces to good use even if I don't use them on this design. But I just think this is such a sweet design, and like I say, the other one I have coming is a purple design, which will be on a lighter fabric. This one I figured the lighter design on a purple fabric would look good. Because y'all, I like purple. What can I say? I know there's a lot of stitchers who do not love the purple. More power to you. I like purple. The more the merrier. Let's see. Then I placed an order from Hobby House. I wish I could say I had been at their recent event, their recent retreat. I was not. But I did order a couple of designs from Hobby House Press. One of them is Pumpkin Pot, and I saw someone who finished this, and I am not, oh gosh, I'm trying to remember who it was. Drawing a blank. This may have been on, it's going to come to me probably an hour from now, so it will not be in this video. But anyway, I just love this design. It's so pretty. Sully Stitches. It might have been Sully Stitches that showed this when she was showing some finishes. That may be it. But it's super cute, and I ordered this not long after. Then we have the abbreviated design. This is a section of, or a reimagining of, a much larger Christmas chart from Hobby House Press, which I have, but which I am not 100% sure I will stitch, because I have a lot of holiday designs to stitch. And let's face it, your holidays designs are only out for about a month, give or take, every year. So I feel like I can get a lot of enjoyment out of stitching this one. I have another big Christmas design that's coming down the pike, and that is the Leela Studio Peace on Earth that came out at market this year. So I just thought, you know, maybe I will actually get this one done if I do the smaller version. So that's what's happening. Watch for the bigger version to show up in a giveaway soon. Not this week, though. Okay. Other new things that I've ordered, and I don't usually do PDFs. I'm sort of a paper chart girl, but for whatever reason, I've ordered some PDFs recently. A couple of them at the Lindy Stitches. And then here's another one that I ordered from Boomerang Stitches. And this is called Snack-a-Lantern. And I'm telling you, that is just the cutest little thing. That raccoon and the pumpkin. Loving it. Absolutely loving it. Will I change the color of the bowl? Yes, I will. Other than that, it's terrific. I won't probably change anything else. So I think this is super cute. And I love stitching Halloween, so why not? When will I stitch it? I don't know. Will I stitch it? Yes, I will stitch that one for sure. Now, the last two things I purchased are super, super exciting for me. I have been on the lookout for a while for some charts from the Primitive Needle, me and everybody else. The designer behind the Primitive Needle, Lisa Roswell, passed away very young. And she has such a kind of a cool body of work. Her things have a great vibe. I'm not always a prim stitcher. You know, people talk about a prim stitch, but there's just something about her designs that makes you want to pick up a needle and stitch them. So one of my unicorns, ever since I came back to stitching and sort of got a sense of who Lisa was and what her designs were, I have been on the lookout for blacked sky. Blacked sky, blackened sky, you name it. But recently, Mariah, who is the daughter of Lisa Roswell, decided that it was time to reissue some of her mom's charts. So she basically recharted them. They're big and bold. I think maybe she's only doing PDFs right now. I could be wrong about that. It's possible that you can get paper patterns. I know that the last time I saw one of the original charts for this, it was listed for $200, and as much as I love it, that's just not feasible for me. I mean, for people who want the paper chart and have been lucky enough to get one, fabulous. I am happy for you. But for me, this is so wonderful because I am now going to get to stitch my unicorn chart, which is this one, and another, also by Lisa of the Primitive Needle, courtesy of Mariah, her wonderful daughter. This is Witch's Hollow, and this one is so cool. There's so many great motifs on this one. You could stitch this one as a band. You could do a drum out of one of these lower bands. You can pick out your favorite bands and only stitch those. I mean, you can just go to town on this. It's wonderful. And lots of fun possibilities for Halloween stitchers like me. So I am very thankful that Mariah, made this decision, because I know I'm not the only one who's ordering these and going to be stitching them up. So that is a wonderful thing. All right, that may be everything. Plans. My plans are simply to do my 2 Whipgos and to do my level best to keep up with Andrew, who is diligently training for his marathon. Believe me, stitching is the easier part. Training to physically run a marathon is not something I could do, but I can stitch along, and I'm happy to do so because Andrew's just delightful, just wonderful. So that's it for me. It's been a little bit of bumpy and all around, but